Hello again, it's Garson, and we've attracted a lot of attention with this new ability called Mantle of Majesty command. So we're going to talk about this today, but more importantly, I'm going to answer some more questions about patch 8. So let's strap in, we'll stop the music. Show's over, Gale. Go ahead, let them all go, oh man! But why are we on the stage? Well, so, like I said, we're going to dive right into this. I appreciate all the help lately, all the support lately has been really awesome. What we're here to answer is Mantle of Majesty command. Is it good? How good is it? And so on and so forth. And also answer some other questions in patch 8. So shout out to ASCII art from Christopher Johnson, his website. I couldn't find one for, you know, a point down for the grovel effect, but it all the same thing. And also, you know what? A big thumbs up to you guys anyway, because again, the support has been really wild. I really appreciate it. You know what I'm talking about. So thank you very much. I'm not going to talk about myself. Let's just get into it. In fact, I really like some of the feedback. I really love some of the questions. I've answered it. So let's dive into that. A big thank you to you guys. You want to support the channel, just have fun with these videos, right? If you want to support it further, watch all the way to the end and I'll let you know how, right? So let me help you and answer some questions and some feedback. So if you want to follow along with the main subject, you can go skip right to it. No problem with me. I've got some results and I have a little, you know, explanation of how good it is, quote unquote. But if you're interested in some of the questions people have been asking in patch 8, I've got answers. And more importantly, let's dive into right here honor mode run playlist real quick. This was actually requested by you guys. First and foremost, it was Paddle shouting out, hey dude, I love the runs, can you actually like organize them into playlists? Well, of course I can. I didn't know you guys were so interested. That makes me happy, right? So check this out. I'm going to open up the browser. You can actually see here I've made some playlists for all the previous runs. Once they're completed, they're now compiled, like the new patch 8 subclasses, the first one with good old Reggie, and I have a little description here showing you just what you're getting into with this playthrough. We were testing new 4 subclasses with patch 8, so if you were interested in Death Domain, Arcane Archer, and whatnot, try to compile this in a way that you can see what you need to, right? We'll bump out of here. Okay, so check it out. Okay. All right, but yeah, I have, you know, runs I usually reference, like the Fun Guy run, the Hot Chick run, or the YOLO run, and plus the new testing out the new patch 8 stuff. So if you're interested in these runs, should be a lot more easier to kind of organize and see it for yourself. Go back to previous runs I reference and whatnot. So I really appreciate that. Didn't know how much interest there was. And it comes from a heart of how do you play or level this? This is something I say when you see some of these build time videos or at the end of our videos, right? I want to show you how to play and level something, but I figure I can get a 1-2 punch, show you how the mechanics work so you can play honor mode runs, maybe get your golden dice, or maybe have fun. Because why do I enjoy honor mode runs? I think it's the best way to play, and I want to see you play it your way with your characters as best as you can be, right? So when I say this, I try to entice you to play honor mode for your own sake, for your own fun, or rerun it in a new way. And the way you can get tips, tricks, or just come into the chat and have fun with us is seeing in the live stream how to run and play and level up these ideas and concepts instead of just theorizing it. We want to see if it's actually a good idea, right? And we've had some failures, so and we've run into some issues like YOLO. But anyway, but yeah, thank you so much for the feedback. I now have some compiled playlists for you, and we'll move on to some patch 8 answers because all this is subject to change. We've actually had an update. This is why I leave whoops, top left, I flash it on the screen. This is a stress test, so a beta of sorts, and thanks to you guys I have access, so I pay it forward. I try to answer your questions and we'll just dive right into them, right? So Omer Maimon, Star Chalice and the Warden of Vitality, what's that all about? So let me pull up a clip as usual, trying to help us explain this on the fly. So what he's asking here is, hey, the Chalice forms, the Chalice form of the new Star Druid Constellation forms, it gives you a bonus heal, right? So for those who don't know, what we can do is get the Warden of Vitality using Magical Secrets Lore Bard. You get it at level 6. We can grab that from the typical Paladin list that they would normally get at level 9. That's the only reason I'm doing this multi-class. Then I'll grab 2 levels of Star Druid, and I'll even grab 1 level of Life Cleric to, you know, amp up the healing, because I was like, yeah, I want to see this too. So Star Druid, the Chalice form, when you heal with a leveled spell, right, you're going to actually get the ability to get a bonus heal. It doesn't cost any bonus actions. You just need to trigger it by healing. And what I'm trying to demonstrate here is with the heal that's coming from the cleric or the druid, it's based off of wisdom. But the chalice, we know from these star druid forms, it's actually based on whatever your current spell modifier is. So long story short, if you heal with a spell, you get a bonus heal. And it comes from, you know, different spell sources is what I was trying to demonstrate here for those who are interested. But you can only heal once per turn, right? Now, what he was asking is, what if we were able to get the Warden of Vitality spell, and it gives us 10 turns of heals using our bonus action. So you'll use an action to cast this level 3 spell, and you'll get roughly a level 2 spell's worth of healing on bonus action. And he wants to know, does that trigger the bonus heal from the Star Druid form? And unfortunately, as you can see here, not exactly. So this has some weird interactions with what it considers a spell and what it doesn't consider a spell. But unfortunately, Warden of Vitality, not working, doesn't work at all. So hopefully it also went above and beyond and answered some of your questions about mixing the Star Druid with other healing sources or powers like the Cleric. All right, so great question. All right, so let's jump into a double whammy here. I have 2 questions talking about the Swarm and Druids, right? So the Swarm Keeper we've been covering a lot. Let me dive into this one. I actually have 2 questions, so I'll pause this. We have our genre and genre. I'd be curious about the Jelly Swarm and the Circle of Stars Druid multiclass. I wonder if there's any fun interactions. Well, I'll try and give you some. And also, Odin and I asked 2 questions. This first one, though, I had a question about Swarm Keeper and Spore Druid. Does the Swarm get any bonuses like the D6 Necrotic from the symbiotic entity form? Okay. So, I'll try and keep this simple for you, but I got both examples here. Now, I apologize I didn't use the Jelly Swarm. It's just both bees on these guys. But this multi-class, we're just going to use the Swarm Keeper from Ranger, and we're going to use the subclasses from the Druid, see if there's any fun interactions, right? So something we already did know is that as long as your attack, whether it's a spell or a bow or a weapon, right? As long as it's an attack, you get these reactions from your Swarm, okay? So that's how it just generally works. Now, the question is, does Star Druid have any unique interactions? Well, yeah. You're going to use this bonus attack, the Luminous Arrow, and it counts as an attack, even though it's a spell. So, of course, you can use your Swarm using that. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to bounce between these 2 builds, but you can see here with the Star Druid, I actually have the Callous Glow Rings. So we get to see the Callous Glow Rings actually interact with the Swarm attack as well. If you were curious about that, seems like a natural fit for the Luminous Arrow. And like I said, if it's a spell attack, even the Bone Chill cantrip can be used with the Swarm to trigger its attacks, okay? So what I'm going to do is actually, as a Spore Druid, go in and see if the bonus necrotic damage on weapon hits works with the Swarm. And as you can see, it does work with my weapon like it's supposed to, but it doesn't add the necrotic damage to the Swarm's attack. So no, that was Odin's question. Would it actually apply the Spore bonus damage to the Swarm damage, right? Okay, so we're going to bounce between these 2. I'm going to test some more things just to try and, again, give you a little bit more than what you asked for. And see if I can answer some other questions too while we're at it, okay? So like I said, any spell, cantrip or otherwise, right? Any spell that has an attack roll, right, can also trigger the Swarm. So let's see Ice Knife. Ice Knife also triggers it. Let's see if we can get the spell effect. No, I can't. But okay, we know that we could try for it, right? What I'm going to do now is go ahead, zap this guy. I miss. So I said, okay, wait, next turn, I'm going to use the Hunter's Mark and try it again. And we'll see if there's any special interaction with this, okay? And then I'll try for Halo Spores. Now I tested Halos of Spores. It's a spell save DC. It's not an attack roll. It doesn't trigger anything from the Swarm. Okay? So we'll roll into the next turn. We'll jump around. Yada, yada, yada. Get Murphy down here. What I'm going to do is, on the Star Druid, I'll also go ahead and attack with, or set up a Hunter's Mark. And we'll use Guiding Bolt. Once again, it is an attack roll spell. So it will trigger the bees, and it will trigger the Hunter's Mark. So, look at that. Now, it doesn't trigger Hunter's Mark on its own. It does trigger the Bee's Hunter Mark additional attack. So I figured I'd try and show you that unique interaction right there as well, with spell attacks and all that stuff and the Bees. Now, what we're going to use here is, like I said, I already have Hunter's Mark. We're going to see if maybe this has a special interaction. Again, there's not really anything there. It does trigger the bees, but there's nothing crazy going on from Spore Druid. So hopefully that answered some of your questions right there. And Odin even has a second question, so I'm going to pull up another video. He's asking, hold on, let me show it to you. So riders with the swarm. So Odin generally just asking, hey, since I was inspired by that video, what about Helldust Gloves, the Brood Mothers? Like, how much can we actually ride off of the swarm attack if we just do that rainbow damage, right? So rainbow damage is just whenever you add a bunch of different colors to your damage types, right? So we have the Brood Mothers for poison, we have even Falar Louv for the thunder damage, we have the Helldust Gloves for fire damage, we have the Caustic Ring for acid damage, and the Strange Conduit Ring. When you concentrate, you get psychic damage. So we're going to concentrate on a Hunter's Mark, aren't we? Right? So I'm going to activate everything. We're just going to see if this triggers on both the Swarm and also the follow-up Hunter's Mark Swarm attack, and see what exactly is going to get benefit from the Swarm attack. Okay? We got this Spore Druid attack as well. Ooh, I even threw that in there, didn't I? Okay, so we got everything on this guy. We're going to throw a Hunter's Mark up, and let me reapply a heal using Shadow Heart. I just noticed, got to get the poison on there. Hold on. Here we go. We have so much damage, and this is why we call it rainbow damage, right? Looks like rainbow when you hover over the damage screen. Okay, so giving you a heal, and now I have poison too. Alright, so I'm going to shoot him with an arrow. Or I guess just run up there and hit him in the face. Okay, boom! Big damage, because we're adding tons of extra damage from all those colors, all those elemental types, but unfortunately, the only thing that's really riding is the Falar Louv, which has always been known to be an interesting damage rider, so to speak. So yeah, Falar Louv, Callous Glow Ring, but most other things don't seem to really apply, but both of you great freaking questions, right? Like, I'm always assuming things, and then I find out I might be actually wrong, which leads us to Lenom's question. Check this one out. This one's really cool. It's a little bit longer clip, so bear with me. He actually had some really good questions here, which is funny because I thought I answered the first one in a previous video, but I tested it anyway. I try to do it justice, right? So, real quick, let's see if the swarm attacks work on cantrips. Well, there's something funny I figured out, but also, does the DC spell difficulty class change if you multi-class into something else? Alright, great questions. Again, I try not to act like I know it all. Even after I've answered a question, I'll go back and try and... You guys always know stuff that's under my nose, right? So what I did is retested this with a cantrip. I figured this time we'll use an Eldritch Blast, right? So I'll switch into, from a Ranger Swarm Keeper, I'll switch into an Eldritch Blast on the Warlock as my cantrip. Now, of course it's going to trigger. You already know that. I've already shown you that, right? Now, what's interesting, though, is I know it only works once per turn, but with Eldritch Blast and the Agonizing Blast boost you get, Agonizing Blast boosts your Eldritch Blast with Charisma damage. But here's something so weird, right? It's also going to add force damage, my Charisma force damage, onto the Swarm Keeper attack. I would have never thought that happened because, well, once again, you guys asked me something, I might have tested it, thought I knew, tried it anyway, and how do we keep discovering stuff like this? This is insane. So Agonizing Blast, if you're using Eldritch Blast, works with the Swarm Keeper in a really weird way, but it gets better. Ready? What about the Potent Robes? Because, well, the Potent Robes gives you something similar. It gives you bonus charisma damage to your cantrips, which is usually used to boost Eldritch Blast even more, like another Agonizing Blast. Now, get this, it gets weirder, okay? It doesn't just do the same thing, where it adds the damage on like Agonizing Blast, it just adds force damage in there. That still happened. It still added force damage right here. But it added more psychic damage from the Moth attack. What the heck is going on? So cantrips actually can get a bonus damage from, I guess, the Potent Robes too. Not just Agonizing Blast. It's a weird interaction, okay? It only gets, like, not weirder, but here's me answering the other question. So Lenom's also asking if I multiclass, like from Ranger Wisdom over to then multiclass to, obviously, Warlock, which uses Charisma. Does the Swarm Keeper attack the special effects of the Swarm, like blinding or shocking? Does that now trigger based on your Charisma rather than your Wisdom? Okay, so the sad answer is no, not really. Sorry to spoil it there. What you'll see here is I'm going to now attack with the Swarm. Try not to blow somebody up with the Shadow Blade. It's a little hard. Okay, I'm going to try and blind him. So he saved, but why did he save? Was it because the difficulty class is based on wisdom, or now that I'm a warlock, it's based on charisma? Well, the difficulty class right there is 16. Ignore my cursor, but it's DC 16. Okay, so if we go over to the stats page, you'll see which one is difficulty class 16. It's Hunter. Now, I took a warlock second, so we know that my current modifier was charisma. So yes, indeed, it doesn't change based on what you choose next or before in multiclassing. It's always going to be based on your wisdom from your ranger. Okay, which gets us to the main topic. I know it's a little unrelated, but this is something I did want to talk about now that I've played it. So Mantle of Majesty, if you skipped ahead here, welcome. I'm going to answer this question. It's a very popular question and people are very curious about what is so great about Glamour Bard. Well, at level 6 you get the Mantle of Majesty. We'll go in game right here. This is a unique bonus action. It causes 10 turns of concentration, and there's some conditions here. Let's just go over them. It's a bonus action. You concentrate. It lasts for 10 turns as long as you can maintain concentration. But if you can, it allows you to cast one of 5 commands, similar to the command spell. The command spell being halt, approach, drop your weapon, flee, and grovel. And this is a very powerful level 1 spell that can scale up, but it is not the same as Majesty command. The reason is you get the same command options: halt, flee, approach, drop, grovel. Grovel being a very big one. But for 10 turns, as long as you have a bonus action, you're not concentrating on the command. You're concentrating on maintaining the ability to use a bonus action and casting command essentially for free. Okay? Now, there's also a special condition here for the Glamour Bard. These are all based on wisdom saving throws, okay? If you can pass a difficulty check like we were talking about earlier, this spell save DC is what determines, can this guy indeed pass this check, and then I get the command and he drops everything he's doing. So it would be based on his saving throw here, okay? However, it's guaranteed to succeed against foes who have been charmed, the charm effect, which the spell itself is very limited, okay? Command itself is also very limited, but Mantle of Inspiration, which charms enemies who hit your allies in the melee range, it will just charm them. You're supposed to combo this with the Mantle of Majesty at level 6 of the subclass, and any target that's charmed automatically skips the wisdom saving throw and fails, and this is extremely powerful, or so I thought it was. Now, I'm going to show you some results in my Honor Run 2. I made those playlists. You can check it out. We're still running it. I can now say, yes, I've tried it. I like testing before not just theorizing and making these videos. I like to come back to you with results, and the results were very surprising. I thought the combo was something like you give this to your allies and yourself, and now that you've been inspired, you get this one wonderful visual. Kudos to the developers. But if anyone hits me in the melee range, right, if Arnson here would hit me with his weapon, he would become charmed, no questions asked, okay? And the thing is, charm usually cannot affect, you know, a lot of things. I think I have it in a list down here. I can't even remember where it is. It doesn't affect plants. It doesn't affect undead. It doesn't affect a lot of things, just basically humanoids. However, the charm you get from Mantle of Inspiration affects most things, more than the average. It still doesn't affect undead and whatnot. So you would lead you to believe that Mantle cannot be used on those things as well. Well, let's check out some examples, all right? Let's just see some. Let me pull up some more videos, some more clips. Alright, so the first one I want to show you is pretty basic, get a good idea of what this is. If I cast this using a bonus action, whether they're charmed or not, right, I can cast with a bonus action, and I cast the very powerful Grovel. This causes them to go prone, and now my melee fighters can run in there and get advantage on melee attacks. Prone is extremely powerful, and I'll talk about it in a moment, but if you cast it and it lands, whether it's charmed or not, right, you can have a powerful effect on bonus action and 10 turns of it, okay? So Susteria here even gets bit by a rat, you know, hilarious. Now, let me pull up another video for you. Let's talk about Ketheric real quick. Can you guarantee someone is powerful on honor mode like Ketheric Thorm, who cannot be pushed around and manipulated, you're gonna see the way I use the combo. So I inspired one of my allies. I thought about it for a second and I said, wait a minute, I can cause Ketheric to attack me with his reaction attack. And if he lands the melee hit, he's charmed. And he's undead, you know, but he's charmed. That's interesting. So, okay, now that he's charmed, guarantees the mantle command, okay? Guaranteed. So Ketheric, we can then sit there. Oh, you're groveled. So that's great. Now we're going to take our melee fighters and just go to town on him because we had an advantage, right? So we beat him up. He starts running away. He gets bonked on by our lovely blade singer here. Okay, and he takes too much damage and eventually leaves like he normally does in the fight. But he could do nothing for a turn, plus we got advantage against him, and it was all guaranteed by manipulating the way he react attacks, right? Getting the charm, and then boom, what do you know? We got him. Okay, let's move on to another example. I'm going to show you Merkel just a little bit later in the Merkel fight. So this is me. I don't have him charmed. What I'm going to do is I'm pretty confident in my spell save DC. Can I make him drop his scythe? I've never tried that before. Lo and behold, doesn't matter that he's undead. I'm allowed to cast this type of command spell, not the original one. I'm allowed to make him drop his weapon. This is incredibly powerful and crazy. Also, did you know that this guy actually has the ability to hit you unarmed because he can't get his weapon back? So he goes in for a cold fist attack that does like some crazy cold damage, but I never knew that. All because I just wanted to test out this spell, this ability. And lastly, I'm going to show you something that really made me happy on stream. You can go back and watch that reaction. But so we actually were able to set up a perfect setup for Cazador here. Cazador is also undead, wouldn't normally be commanded or charmed or whatnot, but we lower his spell save DCs enough that even without the charm guaranteed effect, I'm going to have high enough spell save DC on my Glamour Bard. And the result is pretty wild because he goes into his little fart cloud misty form, right? And the thing is, we're going to go ahead and set him up so that I can use the command spell. All right? So what I do is, obviously if he's in this form, he has a lot of resistances, he's a legendary creature, he has legendary actions, and so on and so forth, right? So I'm going to run up with Will, I'll have disadvantage. Watch this. I go from having disadvantage with Great Weapon Master, no chance in heck to smite this guy, and I really want to double smite him, trust me. But I'm going to go from a terrible, terrible accuracy to almost guaranteeing, like, hitting him plus the ability to crit him is going to be wild, okay? So tons of resistances, but Radiant, I really want to smite him with Will. I've got it all set up. What I'm going to do is get a little acuity on my Blade Singer. I love Blade Singer, by the way. Right? And I'm going to go for a blind. And if I get the blind, it's going to really help out my accuracy, among other things. Right? There we go. I'm going to use that acuity to get a better chance to blind him. Now he's blinded. Okay? And now what I'm going to do is analyze the situation. Okay. I could hit him right now, but let me just test once again. This is a fight where I really wanted to see how good is Mantle in this fight. So I bring Halcyon over, sneak him on over, and now I'm going to use the Mantle command, no charm. I have good spell save DC. I've weakened him a little bit, you know. Let's see what happens. Oh, just here another note. I'm using Mental Fatigue, using Psychic damage. Mental Fatigue lowers the Wisdom saving throw. So if I'm not charming him, he needs to fail a Wisdom saving throw. So I'm going to use Psychic damage to lower that, using Mental Fatigue debuff. That's going to make it even more likely I'm going to succeed with this saving throw. I make the stupid fart cloud grovel. Sit, boy. That's insane. Okay, so now I'm going to take Will. I went from no chance in hell to hit this guy. I'm going to double smite him with level 3 spell slots. Kaboom and kaboom. Just like super satisfying, right? But also, he has no way of moving or getting up or doing anything for a turn. He has no way to use his legendary actions because he's prone, and so on and so forth, okay? So there are some video examples from the playthrough. Made the playlist. You can go back and check it yourself if you want to. It was a good fun time, but let's move on to the question, is it good and how good is it? Well, in my opinion now, it's only the one playthrough with it, but I can already see tons of possibilities, and we now have some evidence right there for you compiled in this video. There is a reason it's on long rest. There's a little debate, should it be on short rest? And I'm actually going to counter my own points here Trust me, I'm on your side, right? But there's a reason it's on long rest. It is not the command smell. It does not have limits. Every target. We were so close to testing on Answer, but a little slowdown on my end. But we're going to test it on live stream to more bosses and see what's possible. I know it already works on Raphael. I did personal tests with that. I'm going to laugh my butt off if it works on Answer and just dissipates his entire explosion move, if you know what I'm talking about. And the charm combo is great, but it's not even necessary, right? The fact that you can learn how to manipulate the way enemies can melee react attack to you, right? That's a great way to manipulate them into charming themselves, and then it's a guarantee for your Glamour Bard to use this. Concentration is only to keep using it. Remember, it has nothing to do with landing the spell and maintaining the effect. They're done. Once you land the spell, especially once they're charmed, it's guaranteed. It's done. They just keep using it is the whole point of concentration. So you could have a thief. Yeah, I'll get into that in a second, but you could have a thief and cast this twice, all because it's just concentration on using it, okay? It's effectively one of the most powerful spells in the game. The reason I say this is, again, a context really comes from Honor Mode rule set, where enemies have these very dangerous legendary actions, but they cannot use them if they're prone. They're just stuck on the ground. They can't react to anything you do, even with really dangerous legendary actions. So if it can be proned, you use Grovel. If you use Grovel and now they're prone, not only do you get a massive benefit from skipping their turn, they cannot react with these dangerous reactions, and you can just go up to them and beat the crap out of them with your melee weapons. It's almost as good as a hold spell, but it doesn't guarantee crits or hits, right? Okay. Also, it's the definition of control. I made the video calling, Glamour Bards control freaks, and this did not disappoint. It's 10 turns with no limit. This is extremely freaking powerful, and I've barely scratched the surface of how to abuse this, but this is my little argument as to why this is reasoned. Not the devs, I don't know, but I can see, oh, okay, yeah, that's on long rest, okay? Think about this for a second, though. Think of a thief with a multi-class into this, right? 6 levels into this subclass gets you the ability. You don't need to charm people to use it. You just need to know how to land the spell, right? And you can be a thief and cast it twice per turn, which is already wild. Or a whole team of Glamour Bards can just keep rolling into the next fight, or just blow their load on one fight and be like, you stop, you can't move, sit boy, stop it, nope, you run away, you drop your weapon, you do this. It's insane, okay? Considering level 5 hold spells like Hold Monster can make just about anything stop and move, that's a level 5 spell slot. You don't just blow that on every fight, right? You have to consider, ooh, if I miss this shot, So it's the same thing here, but you get 10 turns, 10 chances, maybe even 20 chances with a thief or a whole team or whatever. It's kind of crazy. So it returns on long rest, which is a huge thing if you think about it. You don't have to have the resources to just hit long rest and get those long rest abilities back. You could have you're not going to recover your spell slots maybe, but you can just get this back. So who cares? That's already on the level of a level 5 or even level 6 spell slot. You get it once per day. Who cares? Just rest for every fight. And I know that's tedious, but it's not a spell slot. It just comes back for resting, whether you use resources or not. So it's actually super easy, not super easy to land, but it is actually easy to land. Forget the charm for the moment. If we look at spell save DC, if it's built properly, you can have a very monstrous spell save DC. And before any other conditions applied, I want you to consider the theory that you got Arcane Acuity, which raises the spell save DC even further if you were to attack with certain types of damage. Fire Acuity is super popular, so let's pretend you had the Fire Acuity hat on and you were raising your, using this hat to raise your spell save DC. You would just need a scroll of Scorching Ray and you'd get to shoot like 3 times. I don't have one right here. But yeah, you would be able to just shoot 3 shots of fire at anybody you can hit. You don't care because you're just trying to raise your spell save DC. So with one scroll on an action, mind you, right? If you had an action to shoot 3 little fire blasts, pew, 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 you just raised your spell save DC from 22 here to 28. Nothing's stopping that, okay? And then you go to use your bonus action, you're like, good to go, just gonna land command. It works on everybody and everything, and it stops legendary actions. It stops, gives you advantage when hitting them with melee. So it's why Acuity is so busted in general, and in this sense, it's even more ridiculous, right? Then you can talk about if you have a thief or a team comp with a bunch of Glamour bards, debuffing them with mental fatigue like I talked about, and so much more. So yes, I really don't mind if it is on short rest. You're not going to convince me it shouldn't be a long rest ability. It really should be, but I'm not going to say no to it being on short rest. Do you know why? Because I just told you, you could just rest, use no resources, and be right back into the next fight, not even giving a crap. Who needs elixirs? Who needs any of that stuff when you can just land this thing and beat the crap out of them? It's almost boring to just be like, sit, okay, now we're gonna dogpile you with, I don't know, get a team of 1 Glamour Bard and 3 fighters and just go to town on somebody, then long rest, don't need resources, and just get your ability back. It's insane. So it would save time anyway to just put this on short rest. So there's your argument. There's your real proper argument. If you want it on short rest, I got your back, right? And I gotta say, I've been asked, how do you feel about the subclasses? And I've now tested, for the most part, 8 out of the new 12, right? And you might think, oh, Garson just flowers them. He just likes all of them. He just thinks they're all good. He's just hyping up all of them. I don't like Glamour Bard. I was ready to champion this subclass. I don't like it. I don't like it. There's more I want to talk about Glamour Bard. I don't think it's a good subclass, and it's not for the reasons you think it is, especially because I just hyped up this move, Mantle of Majesty, and told you, bro, it's good. It's stupidly strong. I enjoy all of them. I really do. All of them, though, I don't like this one. I really have a problem with how this scales and what to be doing with this, and it's just... I'll talk about it in another video. I don't like Glamour Bard. I don't think it's all that great, except... if you want to abuse this move, this is all the subclass is really all about. 6 levels into it is all you need to get to it. You might as well run one on your team. If you want to see something pretty stupid, just learn... get this at level 6 and just learn some of my crash coursing on how to raise spell save DC, and you will be blown away how stupid this can make encounters, right? Because I say, how do you level up, play these builds properly, come watch the live stream? Well, go watch that one, because I play it on honor mode, and that was pretty crazy to see some of those results, right? Anyway, keep throwing me those patch 8 questions. I love them. They expand my brain and show me what's possible with this game. I cannot stress this enough. It's cool that all of your questions led to some... I would have assumed things, but I did it anyway, and once again, I'm impressed. Thanks to you guys, because you're my sponsors. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. That is the best support I could ask for, plus some of the other support. Really, thank you guys. That means a lot to me. So we'll leave it at there. If you really want to support the channel with membership, it's as low as it's going to get. Until the next video, though, hope this was fun. I hope to see you in the stream once I get back to it, if you know what I mean. You guys have a blessed one.